Hi, all of you. How's everything? I hope you're doing well and progressing faster than ever. This is UC, and we're going to work on Panic-striken Climate, 438, reading, writing, fill in the blank. Uh, this is a seemingly long text, but a very simple one, an easy one to deal with. So let's start. First, the scientific community. First of all, let me tell you something. When you're reading a text, please do not look for any prior information and do not look for any specific title. You are dealing with a text which may have no beginning, no connection to prior elements or paragraphs. You have to understand what is in front of you and you have to deal with the text that is in front of you. So it's advisable to focus on the main meaning and main concept of the text you are dealt with. Do not over exaggerate. Do not have your own interpretation. Whatever you're interpreting should be based on this text. You know, with that being said, we're going to start this text. First, the scientific community that studies climate change is quietly panic stricken because things are moving much faster than they expected. So, the first sentence truly gives you a general overview of the text. You know it's about sciences, it's about scientists, it's about scientific community, which means scientists. It's about the studies, and the main concept is climate change. And something is alarmingly wrong because things are moving much faster than they expected. So they refers to this community. I mean, uh, these people, scientists. So greenhouse gas emissions are going up. Now let me give you the clues. Moving faster, moving much faster than expected. We expected, for example, this trend to go up at this pace, hmm? For example, at the pace x, but now it's going up at the pace 2x, double to our previous expectation. Greenhouse gas emissions are going up faster, going up, moving fast. Then, then here we had expected. You can see all the parallels. You can see all the parallels, structures, in terms of meaning, in terms of ideas or concepts throughout the text. Just be careful. Just be careful. While you're reading, you have to read and look for those things. Look, things are moving faster than expected. Gas emissions are going up faster than expected, than calculated, than something like this. Let's look at the options. And your ability to guess the meaning or guess the blank is really important. Credited, no. Formed, it can be. Predicted, it's much more viable. And ordered. Formed, credited, and ordered are not our cases. Formed and predicted, it can be, when we say formed, it can be about the idea or the trend or the pace, but it has to be, there should be an adverb for formed, for example, than previously formed. It means previously we formed an idea and gas emission for gas emissions, or previously we formed a trend for gas emissions, but right now it's going faster than that what was previously formed. So formed is not a good option here because it doesn't make sense generally. The only option is predicted, which is very close to expected. We predicted, we expected, we did some calculations, and based on those calculations and predictions, we expected or we predicted something to happen. But what is going on right now? It's much more faster. Gas emissions are going up faster than predicted. The Arctic sea ice is melting so fast, again, melting, whole ocean may be ice-free in late summer in 5 years' time. Most climate scientists now see last year's report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, whose forecasts, predictions. You can see, excuse me, uh, let me just, you see, predicted forecasts. Whose refers to this one? Whose forecast, it means these forecasts are for this panel, are used by most governments for planning purposes. While you're reading, you do not need to read this part. That's why I tell you this text is seemingly long, but the main concept is not that much long. Look, most climate scientists see last year's report as a report of the governmental blah 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 blah. I can even omit this part, and this part also because it is non-defining relative clause. I can omit this, but you have to read it because you can read it because for confirming or validating your previous blank, you should read it very fast, but you don't need to read it to answer this blank. So most climate scientists now see last year's report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change as a what? As a historical document. What do we need here? Definitely an adjective because nothing uh, is missing except for an adjective, which is not necessary, but there's a blank here. We have to fill it. As a or adverb, excuse me, or adverb, because historical document, historical is adjective, document is noun. Adjective, noun, we have it for adjective. We need to add an adverb to modify that. So purely, evenly, disproportionately, seemingly. Evenly cannot be because we have an article here, a. We should omit this one completely. We should delete, cross out evenly. Purely means simply. Simply. Purely here means simply. So they saw or they see last year's report as a purely, simply, or completely, or specifically historical document. So specifically, this is a historical document. They see last year's report like this. Not disproportionately, it means not to a proportionate level, even level, or fair level, and seemingly as a seemingly historical document, it is either document or not, historical document or not seemingly. You know, there's a report, and it's not just historical document. It is. You cannot say it's seemingly historical document. Purely, excuse me, purely a historical document. Entirely, completely, specifically, simply. Second, the biggest early impact of global warming will be on the food supply, both locally and globally. When the global average temperature hits 1.5 degrees hotter, and it means it will hit 1.5 degrees hotter. The carbon dioxide already in the atmosphere, which is already in the atmosphere, us to that much warming does something to us. You have to use a verb because here it's an object, us, it's an object, it's the object. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is the subject, so we need a verb, definitely. Let's look at the, excuse me, I have to just come down, roll down. Commits, commit, committing, committed. Definitely committed is not the answer because it's in past form. Committing, commit, commits. Commit cannot be because carbon dioxide is singular, so verb should be singular. It should not be in plural form. Commit is out to. Committing and commits. We cannot use committing. If we want to use committing, we should use a comma before it, but it doesn't make sense. We need a verb here, and this is very simple. It is a very simple sentence. It's a simple sentence. So A commits B. A verb B. A subject, verb, and B is the object. So commits. It's very simple. So in the atmosphere, commits us to that much warming. Now, what does commit mean here? We answered commits based on the structure. Excuse me, based on the grammar. So we need commits. We ruled out, we crossed out other options to get to this point, to find or to choose commits as our answer. So carbon dioxide in the air, in the atmosphere, commits us to that much warming, to this much warming. It means sometimes if you want to understand the meaning of a sentence, of a phrase or word, you have to look at the context. You have to look at the sentence that word or that phrase is being used. So when it says it commits us to that much warming, it means it somehow prepares us to that much warming, or we should do something with that. We should deal with that. So it commits us to that much warming. Some countries will no longer be able to feed their people. Others, further from the equator, will still have enough food for themselves. But none too, they have enough food for themselves, but not for others. We just have food for ourselves and we can survive, we can supply, or we can provide ourselves. But we don't have much to offer you, or we don't have much to give it to others. So, excuse me, yeah, this is the right place of these blanks. So, some countries will no longer be able to feed their people. Others, further from the equator, equator of the earth, will still have enough food for themselves, but none to spare and apply or span. Definitely a spare. None to spare is a fixed phrase. It means they don't have enough food to give away. Spare means extra. None to spare. It means I have enough. I have just 2 pens and I need them, and I have none to spare, and I don't have extra to give it to you. So none to spare. It's a fixed phrase, my friend. Keep that in mind. So carbon dioxide commits us to that much warming. It means it makes us to adapt to that much warming, you know, to work with that much warming, to be able to live within that much warming. So this is the meaning of commits us to something, to that much warming. In this context, it means this. Always look for clues that verifies your answers, and always be smart in picking the right options, which both make sense in terms of grammar and in terms of meaning. First of all, grammar, second of all, meaning. But both of them should happen at the same time. Thank you for your attention. Till the next one. Goodbye.